Okay, 2409, good luck. So we've not played before, no head-to-head score. 1,000 games for opponent, and I've done just over 800 there or thereabouts. Okay, let's match this and turn it into more like an English game. So what line does he wish to play? I'm probably going to do this because that's the normal structure I tend to aim for, but obviously everything depends on what your opponent does. But yeah, he does that, so I'll just stick to my normal structure here. I don't think it'll stay symmetrical for too long, but you never know, but I don't think it will. We'll both get castled, then worry about what to do. Yeah, do I need to challenge that knight first before a castle? You might push there, actually, mightn't you? I'll challenge the centre first, just so I've got the option to trade, but I'm just looking to castle. Opponent will do the same thing, then we'll just try and figure out how to play the game. But my opponent is much higher rated than I've ever been in rapid chess. Look at that, 2,645 in bullets. So somebody who's much higher rated in all-time controls than what I've ever been. Oh, excuse me. Okay, so it goes d3. So is he looking at e4? We're going to get a stonewall type structure. Is there anything we can actually do about it though? Like, we could put the bishop on this diagonal. We could try and break symmetry by going on this diagonal, but still that type of structure. We could do this to try and push in the center. So e6, e4. Do we really want to maybe sack a pawn? Not sure. No, I'm going to do this first, and if the pawn falls, at least we've got the option to pin the knight. Maybe trade the bishop for the knight, just so we break the complete symmetry. I quite like knights myself. I'm one of those odd players who usually prefers to have knights over bishops, even though bishops are probably technically the better of the two if you had to pick one or the other. He's played rook across, so he wants to blast here. I'm guessing he wants to blast there anyway. What else is his idea? What's his other idea? I'm just going to play a really slow move with e6, just preparing to charge the center depending on what he does. I don't think he's just going to sack a pawn, but he could have some sort of idea in mind. He could have something in mind with unleashing the bishop and the rook, something like that. So once I take, you kick the knight, you come back, you walk into trouble. Knight forward, trade. Yeah, he definitely wants to blast here. So do we counter it? But then the knight can permanently jump in. I like the idea of challenging the center instead. Takes, and try and just march on. But do I do d5 now? That feels wrong to me. I'm just going to get my bishop up and guard the knight, so I've got the option to trade or push on and get my rook off this diagonal. Can't really stop this, so maybe get the rook across either square. I'm not sure if it matters which one yet. I guess bishop could come to f4 at some point and then be a problem with the dark square, but it might still be the best square to aim for. Let's just see. And then at some point we can try and counter the pawn depending on how far he gets down the board. Oh, he has gone for it, so the knight is actually loose now, so knight up, knight in, I guess. It's not really a threat, is it? I'm going to try and challenge this structure, but again, I'm facing a potential problem now. Here, knight forward, he just takes, so I can't do that. I'll have to go across. The knight can move, and I'll have to shift the rook or give up an exchange, but giving up this bishop for the rook but keeping my light squared bishop might actually be a blessing in disguise. It might not necessarily be a disaster. As long as I keep my light squared bishop, that could be quite a nice trade. I've done that myself in reverse in the past and then lost when I've done it, when I've gained the exchange. You know, when you've got this pawn structure, which we've both got, it's difficult to defend if your opponent's got the bishop for that relevant square. If you don't have yours, quite difficult. So that's a bit of a problem. I don't want to drop back here and cause a problem here, so I might have to push on here. Then that's a bit of a problem. If I push on here, that might be a bit of a problem. But I think it's the worst of a bad bunch, or the least of a bad bunch. I'm going to push on here. Bishop in might actually be a nuisance now. Takes, bishop in. Here, takes. Yeah, I might have just gone wrong here. Not really paying attention. Oh, he does take. I think that's going to be the concept. The bishop's coming in. So again, do I give up the exchange? I'm going to just take with a pawn. Take, and bishop in. That'll be the idea. Rook across, take. And that might be enough to actually settle the game. That could literally be enough to settle the game. I don't see a trick. Yeah, that's what he's gone for. So I'll take. We'll see bishop in. I'll come across. Maybe bishop back to challenge this. Let's do that. Just play bishop back. He's playing very well, and you can see he's playing quite a powerful game here. I don't think I can go with my king there because of this sort of idea, so I'll have to spend a move coming back. But yeah, this game kind of feels like it's already drifted. I've not really paid enough attention in the opening and it's gone wrong. I've been too quick, haven't I? My opponent's using the time really, really well here. Not playing too quickly, but not playing slowly either. Using all the time very well. So what do we do? Queen up. I guess you guard both pieces. Rook across to get it off this diagonal. Rook across to challenge the center, but the pawn can push when you want it to push. It's just a case of what structure does white want to aim for. Maybe if you push, I can try this again. That's what he's done. So we can consider this move. It might be just a waste of a move. I think I need the rook across. Queen up here. Queen down doesn't do much. I think I need the rook across here. Get the rook away from the corner so we're not on this diagonal anymore. I'm not sure if I can push the pawn forward. I mean, go up one, it stops the knight, so he's gone back to redeploy. Excuse me. The queen here or queen here could be a move now, but the queen's then on the rim. But it's still a move. It still attacks a pawn. I don't think there's anything better, actually. I'm going to play queen across to hit the pawn. I don't see anything better. But obviously my defending bishop here has vanished, so it's a weakness now, this pawn structure. That's difficult to challenge. So the queen has come down, so we've got across, we've got bishop up. I guess you just close that down. Rook across, what are you going to do? Just simply go over. I don't like the look of that. Maybe I've got bishop up here. Encourage a pawn pusher too. Yeah, I like the look of that, actually. If that knight moves, we hit the other one. I mean, you can come in, I guess. Knight could come in, but... Take, knight takes. No, it's gone, hasn't it, this one? This game, it's just kind of gone wrong. Take, you drop back here, and you cover the rook coming in as well at some point. I've just not played this game very precisely. And it tells, it tells. Take, knight across, actually. Is that a move? I like the look of that. I'm going to go here. If he takes a rook, I could take with a check first, but he can hit the knight. So take, queen up. If queen back, we can take a pawn. So let's take that rook. Is queen up an actual move? If rook here, I guess we just check somewhere. It seems like it. I'm going to play queen forward. But if queen in, can't we just take? Queen takes, knight takes, maybe rook down. It's still going to be very challenging. I might be better retreating. Just concede the file and just come straight back again. But then as soon as he's solidified here, that's not very promising. knight across would be nice, wouldn't it? Yeah, he's done the same effect there. So take, take, take. Now rook down here. There's a double hit here. Rook down here. I can't really go in the corner. That's the problem. So am I actually just worse? Oh, he's on his knight. What the heck? Oh, he's on his knight, but for my knight. But then I take the pawn to keep the queen on. Take, take. Knight forward. Take here. So have I got a trick like knight up now? Either knight forward. Oh, my queen hangs. Of course not, my queen hangs. Take here. I'm going to take and maybe knight forward here. I don't see anything else. I expect queen back and maybe pawn up. Don't think I can take here. I've got to give my knight an escape, and there actually isn't one, as I've just realised. Getting my knight trapped. Oh, that's a bit unfortunate, but my knight is actually stuck. I can't actually retreat my knight anywhere. Yeah, so he just takes. That's a bit unfortunate, isn't it? Although, can I take here now? Because I hit the bishop. If he takes, I take. If he checks, I go up. Check, take, take. I've still got this. Let's grab the pawn. But my knight can't actually easily retreat. That's what I've done here. That's a bit annoying. Oh man, can I take here? Has he blundered? And if he takes, check, and I hit the rook. Has he just blundered here? Has he just thrown a blunder in, allowing check to hit the rook? Rook across is covered. Bishop down, I take it. Bishop back, I take it. But he does take my knight, but at least it's a pawn. So he's seen bishop back. So now can I just come back and hit this pawn then? Come back and hit this pawn, but my knight still can't escape of its own free will. But there is an attack to the pawn now. If I could just get my rook in the game. But my rook is just sat here defending a pawn. The opponent's rook can launch forward at any moment, and sorry, 7th rank, and it's a lot of pressure, isn't it? But he's allowing me to take here, so I could take, take, take. Knight's off, rook down, and I can't still guard this pawn. Knight takes. I assume you just pin. So has he just allowed maybe queen across then? Hit the rook, hit the pawn. Do I need pawn forward? I need something, don't I? I'm going to chuck the pawn forward. I don't think I can take this because I think I walk into a pin. And I don't think it's easy to defend. I think I'd just be losing the knight. So again, he's doing the same thing. I can take here, but I can come in and threaten this again, right? So what's he got? Just threaten a check. It's just a basic check. But then we can take the pawn now with the knight. We threaten to trade with the bishop. So knight across now, and we threaten checkmate. How does he guard it? So knight across. He can't play rook here or queen here to guard the bishop. He'll have to move the bishop. But then can I activate my rook? Can I come across round the angles now? Can I play rook over and come up now? What's wrong with that? I think I've got rook across here, but I'm looking at knight across to create a mate threat. Bishop back, and I don't have anything. I think I need to activate the rook and try and come forward. But I've just realised I've made a mistake. There's a back rank mate threat if I do that. I get checkmated in 2. Oh, that's a bit of an oops moment, isn't it? I can't actually get forward because it's just an immediate mate in 2. So that's just a waste of a move. But knight across, I think he has bishop back. Take, rook takes. But that would have been better, I think. More forcing. Bishop back takes. Bishop in the corner. I've just wasted a move there. That's unfortunate. But you can't let your clock tick too long. And I still can't easily guard this pawn if the queens come off. That's a problem. I could have had this pawn traded, but I just couldn't guard this pawn. But if that queen leaves the diagonal, so he's inviting a check. Is he inviting a repetition? Let's check. Okay, back. There's no trick, is there? I think this is a pretty decent result if it's a draw. That's a decent result in it. Let's see if I had anything, but I realised if I try and go forward, it's check here into the corner in checkmate. But that's a much higher rated opponent than what I've ever been. So let's see how we played it in engine language there. So we just pause so we don't accidentally start another game. We have 36 moves. It shows which the repetitions are there. They're the move times for both players. So let's request an analysis. Did we have any actual chance at the end? Were we busted out of the opening? Oh, we have got something. So our opponent's seen something that we've missed. We're +5 better. I could have pushed my pawn on. So how do you get the follow-up though? Let's have a look at that. Because I am much worse here. I'm -3 and I've turned it round to +5. So opponent's played really well out of the opening. The first, 27 moves. White is better the whole way through. And then we've had a little bit of luck. So it's 85 versus 83% we've played. A couple of blunders each there. But the first big portion of the game, 26 moves there. Up to h5, it's better for our opponent. So I'll just flick through these fairly quickly because that's where we want to get to, where the blunders start coming in. Because this is where I've lost a pawn, of course, not really paying attention out of the opening well enough. And here I've tried not to trade the queen and then put the knight forward. And then I've realised here, of course, the knight can't actually retreat. So yeah, h3. h3 and the knight is just lost, isn't it? I mean, okay, maybe I can take here and then take here, get 2 pawns, but I've already lost a pawn. And that was a nice little trick to get a pawn. And with that pawn, I'm back to level. Now I'm +2 better. That knight going back was okay. And where do I blunder here? That's the first repeated position. Oh, I didn't realise we'd had that position already. Okay. So king to the corners of blunder, like I say, it's flagging h4. So the line is h4, g takes apparently is right, then knight to e3, rook to defend, then rook to b1, and then the queen has to give up for the knight. Wow. That would have been nice to see, wouldn't it? I didn't see any of this whatsoever. You won't be surprised to see that. So it'll be the same blunder again. Because I haven't seen that, I've just repeated, and it's basically, if you don't see that line, it's still a level position. So even though I'm +5, if you see the right line, fair enough, but I don't see pushing here, how I crash through and get the rook behind, for example. So I didn't see that line there, so in the end it was actually a level position, but for that that miss that we've had there. So at our level, that's a pretty decent game, playing someone much higher rate than I've ever been in rapid chess, so that's not a bad result for me.